This video is all about the early education of Dr. Jose Rizal in Calamba and in Biñan. So, Rizal had his early education in Calamba and in Biñan. It was a typical schooling that a son of an ilustrado family received during his time, characterized by the 4 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic, and religion. Instruction was rigid and strict. Knowledge was forced into the mind of the pupils by means of the tedious memory method, aided by the teacher's whip. Despite the defects of the Spanish system of elementary education, Rizal was still able to acquire the necessary instruction preparatory for college work in Manila. It may be said that Rizal, who was born a physical weakling, rose to become an intellectual giant, not because of, but rather in spite of, the outmoded and backward system of instruction obtaining in the Philippines during the last decades of the Spanish regime. So, here is the first teacher of Jose Rizal. Dr. Jose Rizal's first teacher was his mother. She is Doña Teodora Alonso Realonda y Quintos. She was a remarkable woman of good character and fine culture. On her lap, he learned at the age of 3 the alphabet and the prayers. Dr. Jose Rizal wrote in his student memoirs, "My mother," which means, "taught me how to read and to say haltingly the humble prayers which I raise fervently to God." As tutor, Doña Teodora was patient, conscientious, and understanding. It was she who first discovered that her son had a talent for poetry. Accordingly, she encouraged him to write poems. To lighten the monotony of memorizing the ABCs and to stimulate her son's imagination, she related many stories. As Jose grew older, his parents employed private tutors to give him lessons at home. The first was Maestro Celestino. Then his second private tutor was Maestro Lucas Padua. Later, an old man named Leon Monroy, a former classmate of Jose Rizal's father, became the boy's tutor. This old teacher lived at the Rizal home and instructed Jose in Spanish and Latin. Unfortunately, Maestro Leon Monroy did not live long. He died 5 months later. After Monroy's death, the Jose Rizal's parents decided to send their gifted son to a private school in Biñan. So, Jose Rizal goes to Biñan. One Sunday afternoon, in June 1869, Jose, after kissing the hands of his parents and a tearful parting from his sister, left Calamba for Biñan. He was accompanied by Pasiano, who was acted as his second father. The two brothers rode in a caramata, reaching their destination after 1.5 hours' drive. They proceeded to their aunt's house, where Jose was about to lodge. It was almost night when they arrived, and the moon was about to rise. On the same night, Jose with his cousin named Leandro went sightseeing in the town. Instead of enjoying the sights, Jose became depressed because of homesickness. "In the moonlight," he recounted, "I remembered my hometown, my idolized mother, and my solicitous sisters. Ah, how sweet to me was Calamba, my own town, in spite of the fact that was not as wealthy as Biñan." So here it goes his first day in Biñan school. The next morning, Pasiano brought his younger brother to the school of Maestro Justiniano Aquino Cruz. The school was in the house of the teacher, which was a small nipa hut about 30 meters from the home of Jose's aunt. Paciano knew the teacher quite well because he had been a pupil under him before. He introduced Jose to the teacher, after which he departed to return to Calamba. Immediately, Jose was assigned his seat in the class. The teacher asked him, "Do you know Spanish?" "A little, sir," replied the Calamba lad. "Do you know Latin?" "A little, sir." The boys in the class, especially Pedro, the teacher's son, laughed at Jose's answers. The teacher sharply stopped all noises and began the lessons of the day. Jose described his teacher in Biñan as follows: he was tall, thin, long-necked, with sharp nose and a body slightly bent forward, and he used to wear a sinamay shirt, woven by the skilled hands of the women of Batangas. He knew by the heart the grammars by Nebrija and Gainza. Add to this severity that in my judgment was exaggerated, and you have a picture, perhaps vague, that I have made of him, but I remember only this. First school broadly in the afternoon of his first day in school, when the teacher was having his siesta, Jose met the bully Pedro. He was angry at this bully for making fun of him during his conversation with the teacher in the morning. Jose challenged Pedro to a fight. The latter readily accepted, thinking that he could easily beat the Calamba boy, who was smaller and younger. The two boys wrestled furiously in the classroom, much to the glee of their classmates. Jose, having learned the art of wrestling from his athletic Tio Manuel, defeated the bigger boy. For this feat, he became popular among his classmates. After the class in the afternoon, a classmate named Andres Salandanan challenged him to an arm wrestling match. They went to a sidewalk of the house and wrestled with their arms. Jose, having the weaker arm, lost and nearly cracked his head on the sidewalk. In succeeding days, he had other fights with the boys of Biñan. He was not quarrelsome by nature, but he never ran away from a fight. He became the best student in school. In academic studies, Jose beat all Biñan boys. He surpassed them all in Spanish, Latin, and other subjects. Some of his older classmates were jealous of his intellectual superiority. They wickedly squealed to the teacher whenever Jose had a fight outside the school, and even told lies to discredit him before the teacher's eyes. Consequently, the teacher had to punish Jose Rizal. So here it goes the painting lessons of Jose Rizal in Biñan. Near the school was the house of an old painter, father-in-law of the school teacher, and he was named as Old Juancho. He freely gave Jose Rizal a painting lessons. Jose Rizal and his classmate Jose Guevara became the apprentice of Old Juancho. This was the end of Jose Rizal's Biñan schooling. Time came when Jose learned all that Maestro Justiniano could teach him. The teacher informed Jose's parents that their son should be sent to college in Manila. Jose received a letter from his sister Saturnina, informing him of the arrival of the steamer Talim, which would take him from Biñan to Calamba. December 17, 1871, Saturday afternoon, Jose left from Biñan after 1 year and a half schooling on that town. Talim is the steamer that Jose rode going back to Calamba. Arturo Camps, a Frenchman and a friend of his father Don Francisco, took care of Jose during the trip. Upon arrival in Calamba, Jose was welcomed home by his parents, brother, and sisters. The Christmas of 1871 was joyous and memorable one for him. He was home, and he regaled his brother and sister with numerous tales of his fights, escapades, and school triumphs in Biñan. And that is all. Thank you.